Hi, my geniuses. Welcome to my channel. This is Carol, and we are going to look at reading tests in Ielts today. For those who are new to the channel and those who have not subscribed, please click on the bell icon to receive regular updates and on the subscribe button as well, because we are doing a lot of episodes. If I start a new series alongside, you would also get updates for that. So do watch, listen, and enjoy my rest of the videos. Let's start with reading and let's see what reading has got for us. Let's see what the overview lists for us today. First, the structure of reading, the format of the test, question types, strategies and tips, materials, scoring calculator, sample tests, and one test for you. So let's see the structure of the test. First thing, you would be given a reading booklet, a reading answer sheet, and a pencil and an eraser. There are 40 questions, and there are 3 sections. The time given is 60 minutes. So passage 1, passage 2, and passage 3. This is how I would advise you to split your time. So you have time to read, answer them in the booklet, and also transfer it to your answer sheet. Unlike listening, reading test does not have separate answer transfer time. In listening, in that 40 minutes, you have 30 minutes of audio time and 10 minutes to transfer. However, in reading, you have 1 hour, and in 60 minutes, you have to finish all the 3 sections, including the time of transferring your answers from the booklet to your answer sheet. So generally what my advice would be to do your passage 1 within 15 minutes, transfer your answers to the answer sheet, then come back and do passage 2, which shouldn't take more than 16 minutes, and then transfer your answers to the answer sheet for passage 2 questions. Then come back to passage 3, do your reading and answering in the booklet, and then transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Transferring and checking, you shouldn't have more than 4 minutes. The total time would be 60 minutes. Now, why have I split it into 15, 16, and 25? The format is different for general training and academic training in reading module test. So for general training, you could probably follow this, but for academic, you might have to split it equally because all the 3 sections for academic are the same type. But for general, as you move on from section to section, the context becomes a bit more difficult than the other one. The format. Reading test is different for Ielts academic and Ielts general candidates, as I said. Section 1 will contain 2 or 3 short factual texts, one of which may be composite. It will consist of 6 to 8 short texts related by topic. For example, hotel advertisements. Topics are relevant to everyday life in an English-speaking country. Now, section 2 will contain 2 short factual texts focusing on work-related issues, for example, applying for jobs, company policies, pay and conditions, workplace facilities, staff development, training, and etc. Section 3 contains 1 long, complex sentence. Section 3 contains 1 long, complex text on the topic of a general interest or an academic interest. Now the difference between academic and general is the section 3 for general is exactly the same for academic for all 3 sections. So section 1, section 2, and section 3 in academic reading tests are just the same 3 long passages which is of general interest or an academic article or a research text. However, for general, it is in this format. So the texts are authentic and are taken from notices, advertisements, company handbooks, official documents, books, magazines, and newspapers. Now, what are the question types? The different question types that you will see. The first one is match headings. So the task here would be to choose a heading from the list which matches a section or paragraph in the passage. Now, the skills required for this is understanding the aim of a section. You need to identify the difference between a main idea and supporting points, understanding aims of paragraphs and the section, and also the general content of paragraphs or the sections. What are the tips you need for matching headings? First, read the headings before you read the passage. There are often more headings than you need. Analyze the headings before trying to match them to sections or paragraph. Now, the answers are often numerals. They are often Roman numerals. So read the instructions carefully and check. And remember, answers do not come in order. The second one is true, false, not given. It can also be called as yes, no, and not given questions. The task here is to decide if the information or writer's opinion in the question statements can be found in the passage or not. Now, the skills here are whether you can identify specific information in the passage, whether you are able to scan and understand the information, and also understand the opinions of the writer. So what are the things you need to do? Tips: understand the meaning of each answer. Now, if it's yes or true, the same information is found in the passage. It's either in the same word or phrase or sentence, or it can be paraphrased. But the information is in the passage. If it's no or false, then the opposite information is found in the passage. There is something about the particular keyword or the particular topic or subtopic, but the information is wrong or it's opposite. That means it's a no or a false. Now, when it comes to not given, that means the information given in the question is not found in the passage. So paraphrase the statements before trying to locate the answers as well. Answers do come in an order in this type. The next thing is matching paragraph information questions. Now, the task here is to match the information given in the question with the information found in one of the paragraphs in the passage. The skills required here are to identify specific information and scan for the information. Now, what you need to do is to paraphrase the information in the question, find the information in the passage, and get the answer. Now, remember, answers do not come in order. The answers are usually in the form of a letter, capital A, capital D, capital C. So read instructions carefully and check. Not all paragraphs may be used. The next thing is summary completion question. The task here is to complete a summary by filling in the gaps using words from the passage or words given in a box. Now, the skills required for this are usually to be able to scan for specific information in the passage or understand ideas and supporting points or selecting appropriate words. What are the tips you need here is, first thing, you need to identify the type of word needed for each gap. Is it a noun or is it a verb or is it an adjective? That is what you need to find. The second thing, locate the information in the passage in order to choose the right word. If you choose words from the passage, check how many words can be used for instructions. So you need to get the instruction also correct. Usually the answers come in order in here. The summary must be grammatically correct, which can help you in choosing the right word for the gap. Next one is sentence completion questions. Here the task is to complete sentences by filling in the gap with words from the passage. So you need to be able to scan for specific information. You need to select appropriate words or understand information in the passage. Now here, the same thing as I said for summary completion is the same thing I'm going to say over here, is to be able to identify the type of word needed for that gap. So check, is it going to be a noun or a verb or adjective or anything else? So locate the information in the passage in order to choose the right word. The sentences must be grammatically correct, which can help you to choose the right word for the gap. So read the sentence again and again and find out what parts of speech is required there. So check how many words can be used for each answer, and remember, answers do usually come in order in sentence completion. The next thing is multiple choice question. The task here is choose the correct answer to the question or the correct ending to the sentence from usually 3 or 4 possible options. So the skills here required is to be able to scan for specific information and understand the information in the passage. So the first thing I would say is to paraphrase the information in the question and options. Locate the precise information in the passage. Answers will come in order. And the answers are usually letters like capital A or capital B or capital C or D. So read the instructions carefully to check. The next thing is list selection. So the task here is to choose the correct option from the list of words, information, or names. This differs from the multiple choice because the questions all relate to only one long list of possible answers. So what are the things that they will check is whether you're able to scan for information, you're understanding the information in the passage, and also identifying ideas relating to others. So what you need to do is read through the list, prepare paraphrases, then read through the questions and identify the keywords. Then locate the information in the passage. So here again, answers will come in order. And answers also here would be usually letters between A to G in capital. So read the instructions carefully to check. The next one is choosing a title. The task here is to choose the most appropriate title from the list. The skills required here are identifying aims of a passage, distinguishing between detail and main aims. Now, what are the tips? What you need to do is look at the differences between possible titles and then pay attention to the opening paragraphs and the closing paragraphs of the passage. So don't spend too much time on this question, it's only worth 1 point. The next one is classification questions. Here you need to decide which category the information belongs to from a list. So the skills here required are whether you're able to locate information in the passage and also categorize information. So what you need to do is find information in the passage, decide which category the information belongs to, and look out for paraphrases. The next one is matching sentence headings. The task here is to complete sentences by matching the start of the sentence with the correct ending given in the list, locate information in the passage, and understand the information. Now what you need to do is read through the sentences and then read through the possible endings, prepare paraphrases, find information in the passage, choose the best ending to match the information in the passage. The completed sentence must be grammatically correct. Sentence beginnings follow the order of information in the passage. So the answers usually are letters from A to G. Here you need to read instructions carefully to check. There are usually more endings given than you need. The next one is table completion. Completing the table using the correct word from the passage. You need to read the column headings in the table. Identify the type of word needed for each part of the table. Then scan the passage for the information. Answers are often located in a specific part of the passage. Check how many words you can use for the answer. The next one is flowchart completion, where you need to complete the flowchart using the correct words from the passage. Here you need to identify the type of word needed for each part of the flowchart. So scan the passage for information. Answers do not always come in order. So use the direction of the arrows and boxes to follow the order of information in the chart. Then select the appropriate words from the passage. Check the number of words that can be used for each answer. The next thing is diagram completion questions, where you need to label a diagram. Identify the type of word needed for the answer. Is it going to be either a noun or a verb or an adjective? Find the information in the passage. The information is usually located in one specific paragraph or two in a passage. So check how many words also you're asked to use for the answer. And here as well, answers do not come in an order. And the last question type is short answer questions. Now answering questions regarding details in the passage is what it is all about. All you need to do again here is identify the type of word you need, whether it's a noun, verb, etc. Then paraphrase vocabulary in the question. Scan the passage again to locate for any information that you can find. Then also check how many words you can use for the answers, and in here the answers do come in an order. What are the strategies? So timing is an important part of the reading test. Try to finish each section in less than 20 minutes. Read the passage as quickly as possible. Give yourself 3 minutes for reading. Look at the questions to see what type of information you need to find. So give yourself about 1 minute for that. Spend 12 to 13 minutes reading the passage in detail and answering the questions all together. If a question is taking too long, please move on. Use the last 3 to 4 minutes to transfer your answers. After each section, check, fill any gaps in your answer. Now, giving time for skimming the text, reading the questions, transferring your answers, you have about 1 minute to answer each of the 40 questions. So it follows that if you are taking more than a minute or two to answer a question, then you are wasting time. So even if you get the answer right after 5 minutes of close reading, you are losing time and may lose more points rushing through the remaining questions at the end of the test. If you cannot answer a question, put a clear mark beside it and move on. If there is time at the end of the test, go back and try again. No matter what you do in the last seconds of your test, put an answer on the answer sheet, even if it's just a guess, because points are not deducted for a wrong answer. There is no negative marking. So during practice, make sure to aim to improve your general language knowledge and skills, as well as to develop effective strategies. Aim to read appropriate materials about a wide range of topics as often as possible. Even academic texts about different subjects have a high proportion of words and structures in common. So even if you're doing a general training, I would advise you personally to go and practice a lot of academic training reading tests than more of general, because the more difficult you push yourself in practice, you're going to do well in your general tests. Try also to increase your reading speed. So the length of time allowed for each section of the reading test is relatively short, so you will need to be able to read the text and questions quickly. So over time, if you keep doing this during your practice, your general proficiency in English will increase and your potential test performance will go up. In IELTS reading tests, each paragraph usually has one main idea supported by details, examples, or evidence. Identifying the main idea of each paragraph will help you understand the text better, and in IELTS, this skill is tested in the heading matching task. Do not worry about unfamiliar vocabulary or topic, but do not relax if you're familiar with the subject of a passage. The answer should be in the passage itself. Check if the passage has glossaries. So read the instructions carefully. They may look similar to the instruction from practice tasks, but there may be an important difference there. So check to see if an example is given. Skip any question you are not sure about. Rather than wasting too much time on that particular question, you can come back to that question later. Try to give an answer for all the questions. Multiple choice questions in particular are worth trying to answer, as you have a chance of guessing the right one. Scanning is a very useful technique because it saves time. It means that you move your eyes down the text quickly to find specific information like places, names, phrases, without reading everything properly and ignoring information you do not need. So let's look at one sample here. This is a small text with just 2 multiple choice questions. So the text has a topic, and that is, or you would say heading, that is having an ear for music. So I'm going to be reading the passage very quickly. It brings new meaning to having an ear for music. Musical aptitude may be partly down to genes that determine the architecture of the inner ear. We perceive sound after vibrations in the inner ear are detected by hair cells and transmitted to the brain as electrical signals. There, the inferior colliculus integrates the signals with other sensory information before passing it on to other parts of the brain for processing. So questions 1 and 2. Choose the correct letter A to C. So you would have to write the answer as the letter and not the actual answer in your answer sheet. So the answer for the first one, what does having an ear for music mean according to the passage? So after reading the passage, I infer that the answer should be B. A person has an ability and predisposition for music. It's not A because we're not talking about a person enjoying music, or we're not talking about a person having any special hearing it. So it should be B. So when you write your answer, you would write a small b or a capital B only beside the corresponding number. Question number 2. Sound is perceived when vibrations are sent to the brain in the form of. So let's go back to this line here. We perceive sound. So sound is perceived. We have just paraphrased. This is a paraphrased sentence of the first sentence in the second paragraph. So sound is perceived after vibrations. We perceive sound after vibrations in the inner ear are detected. So when vibrations are sent to the brain, so transmitted to the brain. So the word transmitted has been paraphrased into the word sent as in the form of. So the answer should be electrical signals. Yes, it is B again. So you would have to just write B beside the question 2. Let's see another sample. The importance of sleep. Now this is a summary completion. You could anytime pause my videos and read it for yourself, answer, and then listen to the answers. Well, but you still have a test towards the end. So this is about sleep. Sleep plays a vital role in good health and well-being throughout your life. Getting enough quality sleep at the right time can help protect your mental health, physical health, quality of life, and safety. The way you feel while you're awake depends in part on what happens while you're sleeping. During sleep, your body is working to support healthy brain function and maintain your physical health. In children and teens, sleep also helps support growth and development. The damage from sleep deficiency can occur in an instant, such as a car crash, or it can harm you over time. For example, ongoing sleep deficiency can raise your risk for some chronic health problems. It can also affect how well you think, react, work, learn, and get along with others. So the question here is, complete the summary below and choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. So it can either be 1 word or 2, and not more than that, no numbers, nothing. So we have a separate paragraph here, or a summary of this whole paragraph, and we need to find out the missing words. Words or word. Physical and mental health is at risk without enough sleep. So over here you could see enough quality sleep, so the answer should be quality. Furthermore, for adolescents, sleep promotes 2 and 3. So over here you can see the word children and teens, which actually is paraphrased as adolescents. So in adolescents or in children and teens, sleep also helps support growth and development. So the word support also has been paraphrased as promotes. So the answer should be growth. And the third one, the answer 2 is growth. Number 3 is development. Make sure you don't add and anywhere because it's already here. The lack of sleep can be the cause for health problems. So over here, ongoing sleep deficiency. So sleep deficiency has been paraphrased as lack of sleep. So it can raise your risk for some chronic health problems. So the answer should be cause of chronic health problems. So this is how you need to do. So I'm going to be showing a test. This test is for you. Take your time, pause my video, do the test, pause my video, do your test, and post your answers in the comment section. So now I'm going to show you an Ielts reading passage where this section could be a part of your 3rd section, or it could be in section 1 in an academic, but this is of a general interest, a longer passage where you need to find answers. So most probably you might see this in section 1 or 2 of an academic test, or section 3 in a general training. So I'm going to be teaching you a small thing, how to read and answer a longer passage. So once you look at a longer passage with many paragraphs, and then the questions are coming in later, avoid looking at the questions. As soon as you look at the passage, take it like a book of your own interest that you want to read and know about. So when you have the interest in your mind to know about the topic, you will infer details even more easily. So don't look at the questions, come straight to this passage and follow certain step-by-step processes which will make it easy for you to answer questions later. So when you look at the passage, the first thing you're going to see, you will have a heading, a main heading. In this example, the heading is Indian marriages. So once you've seen the heading, most probably you will not have subheadings. You will just have lots of paragraphs for you to read and answer questions. So being the last section, you might be more tense to finish it more early and you won't know how to read this. So I'm going to give you a small tip as to what to do when you see certain passages. So first thing you need to do, read the heading and know the passages about Indian marriages. So visualize the information that you expect from the passage. First thing you need to do is take the first paragraph. Read the first paragraph, and it's talking about marriage being one of the oldest human institutions, Indian culture. So here what I'm doing is I'm literally skimming, seeing the word in India. Marriage, called Kanya Dana or donating a virgin, is thought of as the greatest sacrifice a father can make, and for the groom as an obligation to perpetuate his bloodline. Many people believe that a marriage is still binding after death. So the first paragraph is Introduction to Indian Marriages. So what you need to do, the first step is read the first paragraph, then go jump into the last paragraph. So this is your last paragraph. So the last paragraph will give you an idea of what happens. Finally, they say their vows, and then they are legally married. And what happens after, so post wedding ceremony. So the conclusion of what happens during marriage, what happens after marriage is what's in the final passage. So when you finish reading the final passage, you will get an idea that this is entirely the process of the Indian wedding. So after reading your first paragraph and the last paragraph, you'll get a 40% idea of what the passage is all about. Quickly come to the second paragraph. Now, second paragraph and all the rest of the paragraphs in the middle, the first sentence of every paragraph is called the topic sentence. So just read the topic sentence. Now, in this, I'm reading the first sentence of the second paragraph. In early times, girls were thought to be ready for marriage after puberty, and later even children could be married. So skimming around, I can see that this paragraph talks about the beliefs before and after. So the keywords here are in early times, divorce, and remarriage. So these are the keywords that you can underline and keep. So you know what the second paragraph is. Now jump into the third one and read the first line. So although many regional variations, some features are similar. So here we're going to be talking about beliefs and some features of the wedding. The third one is night before. So what happens the night before? What's the process? What's the ceremony the night before the wedding? So the night before. The weddings are traditionally held. So now we've come to the wedding part. Then now we're talking about what they wear. So the attire. Then what are the things that they use? Read the topic sentence, you will get the information. And finally, what happens when they're married and what happens after marriage. Let me revise what I said. First thing, read the heading, get an idea about it. First paragraph is what you need to read first. Then jump into the last paragraph. After reading the last paragraph, 40% of an idea has gotten into your brain. Now come and read all the topic sentences of each of the paragraphs in the middle. Now, once you do that, what you need to do is subtitle these paragraphs. So with a pencil on the side or this side or whatever side is comfortable for you, subtopic it. So here you can write Introduction to Marriage, Indian Marriages, Indian Wedding, Early Times or Divorce and Remarriage. And then here you could write Features of Indian Marriages. Over here you can write The Night Before the Wedding. Over here, the next paragraph is about the wedding, then the location where the location is going to be held, and then the attire of the wedding, the ceremony in the whole, what are the things that they use, then finally conclusion of the wedding and post-wedding. So once you do this and then go and read the questions, you're already ready with your answers. So this is how you need to do your reading passages. Let me say it once more. Read the heading, then read the first paragraph, jump to this last paragraph, read the conclusion. Once you've gotten an idea about it, read the topic sentences. Then, lastly, subtitle each paragraph. Once you've done this, then go to the questions. Once you've gone to the questions, take the first question. You will find keywords in the question, which would be the same word in the passage or maybe paraphrased. And it's going to be in an order mostly. So you could just go through and they would be in a, you can quickly find the paragraph it corresponds to, then find the answer quite easily. So this is a tip that really helps everyone to do their reading passage very well. It's very easy to get a band score 9 if you follow these tips. Now let's look at our reading answer sheet. This is the answer sheet that you're going to get. Here you need to write your candidate name, the candidate number, the center number, whether you're an academic training or a general training candidate, the test date. And these are the places where you'll be writing your answers. So be very careful, check, recheck, recheck, and recheck. So this is your band score calculator. I've just put the listening scores here for comparison purpose. Now, reading scores for academic and general training are different. So if you're an academic candidate and if you get 39, you still get a band score 9. But if you're a general training candidate, if you get 39, you get only an 8.5. So general training tests are quite easy. So you might want to work hard to get a 40 to get a 9 score. But if you follow these strategies and tips, it's easier for you to get a band score 9. Post your answers on the comment section. Episode 1 to 6 link is in the description box. Let's practice more in the other videos. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you. This is Carol. See you later.